Hello, television viewers in the San Joaquin Valley. Remember the good old days of live TV when anything could happen? Remember the best music of yesteryear like Count Basie, Tommy Dorsey, and Harry James? Remember those old-time TV programs like The Jack Benny Show, Burns and Allen, and The Bob Cummings Show? Mix it all up with live in-studio guests and taking phone calls from viewers just like you. What do you have? You have a show like no other in the country each week on KGMC Channel 43.5, Antenna TV, and Comcast Cable Channel 378. Tune your television sets at 7 p.m. every Saturday night for 6 hours of entertainment on the Flying Home with Ronnie Paul show. It's Flying Home with Ronnie Paul each Saturday night from 7 p.m. till 1 a.m. on KGMC Channel 43.5 and Comcast Cable 378.
From AM 1680, The Answer, this is Business Leaders with Lance Cardoza, the behind-the-scenes story of the business shakers and movers in the Valley and beyond. And now, here's your host, Lance Cardoza.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Business Leaders. We're live here at AM 1680, The Answer, and I am with Ryan Jacobsen. He's the CEO and Executive Director of the Fresno County Farm Bureau. Ryan, welcome to the program.
Thanks for having me, Lance. So excited to be here this morning.
So over the years, Ryan, I've worked. You were in our 40 under 40 with Business Street.
Inaugural class.
So it was 2007.
Yeah, I was the inaugural class.
The first class.
And the Power 10. That's when you still had the...
Oh, my gosh, the Power 10. So let me explain the Power 10 to everybody. So the Power 10... you are one of the few. I think only 2007, maybe 08.
Possibly 2 classes, and that was it, I think.
Yeah, it started to create wars. So we did it also to the Influential Women 100. So BusinessStreetOnline.com. We host business events. And Ryan, we're talking about him being in the 40 under 40. So 2007, it was at the Downtown Club, when the Downtown Club was still moving. And we had the event there, and we had the Power of 10. And our editorial board, James Olinger and others, we selected our Power 10. And you were in that Power 10.
I was very privileged.
Yeah, I think maybe Ryan DeYoung, a couple other superstars here in Fresno and the surrounding area. And it just created wars. It did. Because that other 30 was just bent. They bent. They weren't in that Power 10. And I think Nathan Magsig.
Yes, I think you're right.
One.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yep.
Some of them.
I still have the plaque somewhere. It's hanging in my house. So.
Wow, incredible. So the Power 10, we eliminated that. But now the alumni committee selects the new class. So every year, someone can go to 40u40.com and they can nominate somebody. This year, June, July, we close nominations. September, we select a new class. The former alumni members, and Ryan, I know you're busy, but if you ever had a moment to be on that, that would be great. And then you're able to nominate a new class. Yep. So, every year in December, it's the first Thursday in December, we celebrate the new class of 40 under 40 minus the Power of 10. So Ryan Jacobsen, what's been going on with the Fresno County Farm Bureau? I see you on TV all the time, on the radio all the time, and you're promoting farm, and coming up a week from now is the
Big Ag Expo.
Ag Expo coming up, so it's a great lead into that. We're going to be going live from the World Ag Expo with this program, Business Leaders Live.
So Farm Bureau, I mean, it's one of those things that it's hard to believe this, Lance, and you're probably going to jaw drop here, but of course you scared me when you said 2007. It doesn't believe like it's that long ago that I got that award, but I started with Fresno County Farm Bureau back in 2004, so I'm just shy of celebrating 14 years with the organization, and since I've been there, it's just been my philosophy to be involved in everything and anything that has to do with agriculture, and in this community, that's everything.
And so a lot of legislation, a lot of stuff, and it's helping the farmers have a voice.
It is. We are trying to be that voice, that representation, that advocate for farmers and ranchers when they're out in the field. Obviously, there's a lot going on in regards to the industry, not just from the local, regional level, but the statewide level. We have a lot to talk about down the show from that. The federal side. So there's just there's a lot of different balls in the air, and we're there to hopefully capture most of those, although it seems to be getting a little bit more and more difficult in this state.
So, Ryan, you you don't go to school and say, I want to be the executive director, CEO of the Fresno County Farm Bureau. Some do, but I'm sure that wasn't where you were exactly going, but it was probably something in this industry.
Absolutely. So, I'm a local boy. Grew up in the little community of Easton, just south of Fresno here. Attended Washington High School. It was at that time. I was a little untraditional in the sense that I'm not your FFAer, and I love the program dearly. But at that time, during the mid to late '90s, Washington basketball was everything, and so I was on the basketball team there. Was on the state championship team for '96, and basketball was an 11.5 months, year-round sport. I mean, it was just something that we dedicated a tremendous amount of time with. I was
it kept you busy.
It kept me very busy, and of course, I had 2 NBAers that went on from that team. I think 11 other Division I, Division II basketball players.
Who did you have?
Deshaun Stevenson, Chris Jeffries, and then obviously just the list went on from there. Had several, Michi Porter, who went on to Fresno State
Michi
basketball,
Porter,
which did an incredible job there, and had folks, whether it was Alabama, other places, went everywhere. And so I actually had one current teammate, Shamel Stallworth, who's playing basketball down in Brazil, is a superstar down in Brazil.
We have incredible athletes that come out of this valley.
Absolutely.
Incredible athletes.
Yeah, no, it was a tremendous pleasure to do that. And so that's one of those, I always tell folks, no matter how much I do in life, it was all downhill from the point when I won a state championship because, I was that kid that really couldn't jump that well or probably shoot that well, but I worked my heart out, and it was a fun endeavor there. So after I left Washington Union, I went to Fresno State, went there as an animal science major, had all intentions of becoming a large animal veterinarian, and loved everything, and everything I got. My experience at Fresno State was phenomenal, and it was during my senior year I was elected student body president of the university, and it was decision time whether to apply for vet schools or not, and I had lots of training and time dedicated towards that, but after some discussions with several folks, one including one of my mentors was Dr. John Welty, who was president out there.
Yeah.
He encouraged me to go on and get my MBA because I kind of started to back off from the veterinarian side. I always joked that I couldn't see myself for the next 40 years with that big long glove on my arm. So I had more talent.
We don't have to explain what you use that big glove for, but animal science, I think you can figure it out.
Yep.
Because the glove went all the way up to your shoulder.
Yep. And it was I loved it, and it was just I saw that there was other opportunities for me. So I went on, got my MBA, actually ran for another term of student body president, so served 2 years as student body president.
So through that student body president, do you think it prepared you for boards and doing
without
what you're
a
doing
doubt
today?
I dedicate so much of where I am today to that experience, not only because of just the opportunity to serve as student body president, but because of the what that Fresno State, Dr. Welty and professors and everybody else was able to offer to me. They opened doors that were just so tremendously important to where I am today, and really launched me to where I am to not just Fresno County Farm Bureau, but my involvement in the community really started there at Fresno State.
So my daughter's going to Reedley College, and she played softball. Zoe Cardoza, my 2 daughters, Chloe and Zoe. Chloe very successful up at CarMax, and there's her free plug. And also you've got Zoe Cardoza. She wants to go into animal science, and then she at one time wanted to ag business, and right now she's taking accounting in ag, and she hates it. She found out, oh my gosh, I don't want to be stuck in an office working like a company, Harris Ranch or so forth, stuck there. I need to be out there working with the animals, and that's what I want to do, and that's probably where you were too. And she's in this area of questioning now, do I want to go into ag business? And I tell her pretty much business is ag business in this valley. It's all connected to ag in some way, but what advice would you give to a young person like that maybe was thinking of being a veterinarian or going that direction and now not sure, but has this love of working with animals or working a feedlot or something like that? What would you say to
Well,
them?
it's funny. I went to school with those two subsets. I got the ones that were just ag business all the way, loved it. Didn't really want the hands-on approach to agriculture. They wanted the office job, and experienced everything. And then I had the extreme opposite. Don't give me any kind of paperwork. Don't give me anything. I want to do hands-on everything. I want to be out in the field and have somebody else assisting me with all that other stuff. And in this particular case, it's one of those things that I just say, follow your heart. You know what you want to do. I mean, it's one of those things. Take advantage of every opportunity. Reedley College, obviously, an incredible opportunity to go out there and get your hands dirty and see really what you want to do. And Fresno State, I mean, I had just tremendous mentors that just walked me through every step. And those professors, I mean, became just tremendous friends to me. And I'm so thankful for what they did there. And so it's one of those things that you just have to continue to do. And you're going to know what you like or don't like. The one thing is, I mean, you continue down the animal science path. I mean, there is incredible opportunities out there for a young person to really make their way in this valley and in the state. If you go the ag business route, again, tremendous opportunities to find some to find job career
Just
opportunities
out
there.
Yeah,
get involved. I mean,
find out what it's all about.
Networking and like I said, you're gonna find your path. It happens quicker than you think a lot of times, and that's what happened to me. I got so much involvement at Fresno State that I was able to tailor in pretty quickly what I loved.
So we're going to take a short break here shortly, but the Fresno County Farm Bureau, I'm sure there's a lot of stuff on your plate.
Yes.
And there's from battles to just also creating awareness about, again, we're the breadbasket of the world.
Yep.
Really, this is the epicenter when you talk about farming. So really, the rest of the country really focuses probably on what Fresno County Farm Bureau is doing and saying and sort of leading the way. I'm sure that's true.
Oh, without a doubt. I want to think of us as the strongest county farm bureau in the nation. I mean, obviously, the county farm bureau setup we have in California much different than other parts of the country, but we're leading. There's some of it is just by default we're leading on, and in other areas we really make a conscious effort to be the leader and represent the folks that we think are the stewards of our lands, and you can't function without our farmers and ranchers. They do a tremendous job in this valley, and I feel it is a great privilege and honor to be able to serve them in the capacity that I'm in.
And so Ryan Jacobsen, CEO, Executive Director of the Fresno County Farm Bureau. When we return right here on Business Leaders Live, we're going to talk a little bit about some of the probably legislative issues. We'll talk about being a focal point of farming around the world and how they look to this area. Why are you leading the way? And the tremendous pressures to be able to run that too. And it's ever growing and always something going on here with the Fresno County Farm Bureau. Next week, just to let everybody know, we're going to be going live right here with AM 1680 The Answer at 9 a.m. live from the World Ag Expo. So we'll be out at the World Ag Expo, and as I describe it, it's almost like the Disneyland of farmers and ranchers from all over the world. We'll be right back here on Business Leaders Live, AM 1680 The Answer.
It only takes a minute to find out if you may have prediabetes, and you can do it at doihaveprediabetes.org. But you're probably not going to. Nope. I'm sure you've got a perfectly good excuse. Kids, work. I get it. You're busy. So what better time than now? Let's begin. Raise one finger if you're a man. Ladies, none yet. Oh, count in your head if you're driving. Now, 3 more fingers for everyone over 60, 2 over 50, 1 over 40, 1 more if you're not physically active, another finger if anyone in your family has type 2 diabetes, another if you've got high blood pressure. If you're overweight, raise another finger, 2 if you're very overweight, and 3 if you're really overweight. You've just taken the world's first audio prediabetes test. And if you're holding up 5 or more fingers, visit doihaveprediabetes.org or talk to your doctor. There's no excuse because prediabetes can be reversed.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its pre-diabetes awareness partners.
This is Dennis Prager for 1680 The Answer. If you care about your country and your community, support The Answer by becoming a sponsor of the Dennis Prager Show. It's easier than you think, and you'll be reaching people like you, folks who care deeply about freedom and faith. Help keep the light of truth burning bright. Your neighbors are counting on you. To become a valued sponsor, call 559-233-8803. That's 559-233-8803. One more time, 559-233-8803.
Are you gender fluid? Are you using the girls' bathroom and your name is Ricky? Do you get triggered by microaggressions? Well, this isn't the show for you. Hi, my name is Jairus Lee, and I'm the host of a new show on AM 1680 called No PC with Jairus Lee, premiering February 3rd at 2 p.m. That's right, all you common sense Bible-thumping patriots, you have a new safe space, and this one encourages free speech and debate. Tune in to the premiere episode of No PC with Jairus Lee, Saturday, February 3rd at 2 p.m. only on AM 1680 The Answer.
Are you ready for a hard-hitting, no-nonsense, straight-laced approach to the issues of our time? Then it's time we got to the point with Supermex. As a veteran of the United States Army Infantry, I look forward to providing you valuable insight on local, national, and international topics, as well as a keen understanding of our nation's military, education system, and our Valley culture. Now, let's get right to the point.
Catch Supermix every Saturday from 3 to 4 right here on AM 1680, The Answer. when you run a growing business, you wear a lot of hats. The I ordered it hat, the Mr. Fix-It hat, the it's taken care of because I handled it yesterday hat. My favorite hat? My I received an order from Granger hat. I look my best in that one. Granger's got the products I need and gets me them when I need them, no matter what hat I'm wearing that day. You know what? I love Granger. You know why? Because Granger's got my back. Call clickgranger.com or stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey friend, Pat Boone here. For years I've been warning fellow Americans about the war on cash such as we saw last year in India, where the government outlawed the use of cash overnight, creating public chaos and hardship. And now some of our own leaders want to outlaw our $100 and $50 bills right here in the USA. Well, to sort this out, I sat down with a top authority and recorded an interview. It's available now on a free CD or MP3 by calling Swiss America at 800-289-2646, 800-289-2646. I discovered why this war on cash will not end until every dollar that we earn, save, and spend can be tracked by the federal government. I want you to get your free War on Cash CD now and discover which assets still offer privacy and growth potential. Get your free War on Cash CD now, will you? 800-289-2646, 800-289-2646.
Giving you the inside story of business leaders in the Valley and beyond. This is Business Leaders with Lance Cardoza.
Welcome back, everybody, to Business Leaders. I'm sitting here with the CEO and Executive Director of the Fresno County Farm Bureau, Ryan Jacobsen. And if you want to catch this episode or any past episode of Business Leaders Live with Lance Cardoza, you can go to lancecardoza.com. That's LanceCardoza.com, and you'll be able to catch any of the past episodes along with this one as well. When we went to the commercial break, Ryan, we were talking about Fresno County Farm Bureau, some of the issues that are out there in California, which we constantly are battling with issues. One of them being the biggest is water.
Yeah.
And I know that's something a lot of people, and you get the naysayers, that they're just trying to create noise. We don't have a water problem. And you hear that at times from people, and it just baffles me at times when sometimes you'll go out on the west side. And I remember as a kid, it being green and lush, yep, and constantly we were cranking out we were the breadbasket of the world, which now we're challenged with that. But also the need for food doesn't go away. It's growing. Absolutely, yeah. In fact, this is a statistics for you, Lance. I've been told that, or I read somewhere that essentially between the years 2010 and 2050, over that 40-year period, more food has to be grown than all of previous mankind combined. So you're looking at a world population that's exploding. You're looking at obviously fewer resources or land resources available, water resources drying up. In fact, I just saw, wasn't it somewhere in South Africa, a major city, 4 million people, individuals that are looking at running out of water this week. We're talking about some real serious issues, and the fact of the matter is that these people still have to eat. They still have to have their need for water, and it's funny. I can sit here and tell you, actually, we don't have a water problem in California. I mean, we do get enough water, even in some of the drier years. We get enough water and snowpack that falls in this area or this state to support our needs. It's just unfortunate that the political decisions and the regulatory decisions that we've made have definitely cost not just our agriculture industry, have cost our local cities, have cost our local valley jobs, economic impact, and on and on and on. But yes, we have had a plethora of issues over the last several years, a little bit driven by Mother Nature, but primarily driven by the political side. And is it part of it the lack of infrastructure and decisions on using that infrastructure?
A combination of everything. Yes, absolutely. We have not really necessarily in this state contributed major infrastructure since, say, give or take the late 60s, early 70s. There's been some minor projects, but we don't have what our forefathers obviously built going back to late 40s, 50s, and 60s. But also, in addition to that, our area is so dependent upon federal water, so it's federal decisions, and it actually has to do with the water that originates up in Northern California that makes its way through the Delta, and it's those complications through the Delta or conveying that water through the Delta, a.k.a. everybody knows the poster child, the Delta smelt, but it's those issues combined with other regulatory issues up in the Delta that has made exporting water out of the Delta so complicated and very difficult to attain the resources that we need to grow the food that we do so well.
And so a lot of that water, when you're talking about coming from Northern California through the Delta, gets flushed to the ocean. A
great majority of it. That's the fact that there's the misconception that certain people, particularly on the extreme environmental community, want to lead you to believe that we are sucking the Delta dry. It's absolutely not true. On average, we're taking somewhere in the neighborhood of about 17% of Delta inflows and using it for export purposes. The other 80+% going under the Golden Gate Bridge. So you're talking a very, very small amount of water. Yes, it could be bigger in drier years, but when you're looking at the average, it's very, very small. But unfortunately, that is having devastating effects here in the valley that we saw the previous 6 years, with the exception of last year.
Go back a little history, Ryan, and you probably know, but when this has been in evolution, it's been going for a long time.
Absolutely.
But when did this really become, like you're saying, our forefathers had built this infrastructure and this plan to be used, and we have plenty of water in California to be used, but because of these political issues, when did this all start to happen? When was that happening then?
It was somewhere in the neighborhood of essentially 92. Now, we didn't see the effects of it going until it was really arguably just shy of a decade ago, back in 2009. We had that real dry year, and that that was the first 0% initial allocation we had. Ended up being a 10% allocation, but that's really started to catch the nation's attention. But if you go back to 92, that's when the Central Valley Improvement Act went through Congress and was signed by the president, which rededicated a large amount of water from agriculture and municipal purposes towards environmental purposes. And it really has been a slippery slope since then, and essentially since 2009, like particularly as you mentioned, the West Side, we've had year after year of 0% allocation or very minimal allocations that have definitely had devastating effects on our small communities of Huron, Mendota, Kalinga, you name it. Anything that's been out there has had some extraordinarily hard hits just because of the lack of water that we've received.
And there's plenty of business to be had. The farmers can't farm.
Absolutely.
You see a lot of it. They would be farming and they would be doing business as normal.
Without a doubt.
Like
Without
I said,
a doubt.
as a kid, going through Huron, up through Kalinga, up in the ranch up there, I would see that constantly, and there was constant productivity and activity. And now it's desert. Sometimes you go out there and you think, what's going on?
And that's the frustration. When you look at commodity prices, we've settled a little bit more down to what we would consider to be normal. But you go back to 09, 10, 11, 12, we were looking at commodity prices, from almost across the board at all-time highs. And the frustration is we didn't have the water to grow so many of those crops that we've done, on average, we've done so well for so many years. The system that our forefathers built operated beautifully for about 40 to 50 years. It's just been more recent because of political decisions that we've gotten ourselves into the mess that we have, that we've gotten into. Now, with that said, there's been some very, very, some victories that have made a difference. You go back just over a year and a half ago, or just over a year ago, one of the last pieces of legislation that the President Obama signed was the WIN Act. Hopefully, it's going to help us in a year like this year, in which compared to where we go back 2-3 years ago, we had those 0% allocations on the West Side. We're hoping that we're going to see some slightly better allocations there. But with that said, you also got to combine it with the fact that we still have regulations and strangleholds, and that was only a short-term fix, that have to be dealt with long-term. It does take an act of Congress to make this happen. That's what I really try to tell folks, is that this situation could be majorly resolved by noon tomorrow if Congress could get something passed and the president would sign it. I think we have a president that's probably willing to sign something that's going to benefit California farmers and ranchers at this point, but trying to get it through the Senate right now has been where everything has stopped. And we have 2 home state senators who, for the most part, obviously we got one new one that just took over in January. The previous Senator Boxer wasn't the most inclined to help us on any of these issues. Senator Feinstein has worked with us on some issues, but still, we don't have those long-term fixes that we think we need to have the water supply that's so needed in this valley.
So, and that's part of what the Fresno County Farm Bureau is constantly advocating for farmers and ranchers, correct?
Without a doubt. This is water is, I used to, when I gave presentations, you go back previous to 5 years ago, I'd have a whole long list of issues that we worked on. I got 2 now, water and other, because everything else falls underneath the other, because this valley does not drive, its engine does not start without the fuel, and that's water.
And that's water. And the other is almost connected to water, probably, in every aspect. it all circles back to that.
Absolutely.
Without that, we're in trouble.
Yep, absolutely. Everything is water, and this valley we know, and we're only talking about what's happened in the past. You go into just the very near future. We got the full implementation of the Sustainable Groundwater Management Act, SGMA, that's going to play some very, very critical roles in what this valley looks like. I mean, there's been projections of 1 in 3 acres potentially being retired because of the lack of water. We need to restore our surface supplies to continue to allow this valley to do what it does so well.
We'll be right back with Ryan Jacobsen with the Fresno County Farm Bureau. We're talking about California issues, and one of them being water. We'll be right back on Business Leaders Live.
Tune in this Wednesday from 9 to 10 a.m. to Frontline Radio with Ben Berquam, your unashamed, unafraid political evangelist, exposing the left and mobilizing the right to stand in the Central Valley, across the state of California, and around the country. Christ, family, country. It's live. It's local. It's Frontline Radio with Ben Berquam on AM 1680. The Answer, brought to you in part by FrontlineAmerica.com, your source for updates on the battle to restore California's and America's identity.
This is Dennis Prager, and you know about my love for the people and the country of Israel. I have an acquaintance in the Central Valley who may well rival me in his love and commitment to Israel, while his more than 80 times in the land well outnumbers the number of my own visits. I'm speaking about retired Marine Corps Colonel John Somerville. John leads groups to Israel on a regular basis, and they are not just run-of-the-mill trips. They are certainly biblically based, but John makes sure you meet with and learn from Israeli soldiers, ambassadors, all sorts of Jews, and just plain Israeli citizens. The next 2 tours are in January and March. John has been on the station on Saturdays and Sundays with Israel in the bullseye for many years. Call him at 559-877-2882 for the finest in travel and learning in Israel. 559-877-2882. 559-877-2882 for the finest in travel and learning in Israel.
At an early age, I lost a brother due to a heroin overdose. I was the cause of that overdose, and to cover it up, I turned to alcohol. I did blame myself.
People become homeless for many reasons. At the Fresno Rescue Mission, men and women find hope. Just like Michael, they discover common ground.
Some of the young men that are there in the program with me, I feel like they're the sons that I never had. We have a lot of the same goals, even though we come from different backgrounds.
You can make a difference today in the life of a man, woman, or child for just $1.76, the cost of a warm, nutritious meal. You can help someone find hope and real answers to cope with their pain. To make your donation, call the Fresno Rescue Mission at 268-0839 or go online to fresnorm.org. Together, we are changing lives.
Without God helping me along that way and getting me back to where I should have been all along, it wouldn't have been possible. So it was a blessing for me.
Want to know my favorite word? Simple. It's how I run my life. Wear the same work boots every day? Simple. Have the same lunch? Simple. Take the same route to work? Simple. But sometimes my job gets complicated. That's why I use Grainger. No matter what issues the job throws at me, Grainger keeps things simple. Online ordering? Simple. Managing my inventory? Simple. And if something pops up, Grainger's got my back with 24/7 customer support. Simple as that. Call, click Grainger.com or stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Are you paying too much for term life insurance? There's a tremendous price war among the major term life companies. Rates have dropped dramatically in the past few years. For example, a man age 45 non-tobacco user, $1 million of coverage, $75 per month level rate for the next 10 years. Or a man age 50 non-tobacco can obtain $500,000 of coverage for a monthly premium of only $110 per month, guaranteed not to change for the next 20 years. That's right, level rate guaranteed not to change for the next 20 years. If you're a smoker, we have great rates available for you as well. At Term Busters, we specialize in policies of $500,000 and above. If you're looking for new or replacement term life insurance, call today for a quote at 1-800-569-5440. That's 1-800-569-5440. You're probably paying more than you should. Call Term Busters, 1-800-569-5440, or visit our website at termbusters.net. Remember, 1-800-569-5440. Rates and availability may vary by state. Sample rate quotes based on preferred non-tobacco underwriting. Exam required to qualify.
You are listening to Business Leaders with Lance Cardoza, the behind-the-scenes story of the business shakers and movers in the Valley and beyond. Once again, here's Lance Cardoza.
Welcome back, everybody. Sitting here with Ryan Jacobsen with the Fresno County Farm Bureau. Next week, Business Leaders Live at 9 a.m. We'll be going live from the World Ag Expo. Over 50 years, the World Ag Expo has been out there in Tulare. I think it started at the fairgrounds.
Yeah,
Tulare County
and it's
Fairgrounds.
just grown. I mean, it's unbelievable what they've got, and they literally have just about every agricultural country around the world that comes and visits now.
Everywhere. And you see all these different languages from all over the world, and it's amazing to see, like Australia, having some of the same issues with water and irrigation, and theirs is more of lack of water.
Yes.
But it's amazing watching some of the delegates and the people from Australia coming over here, their version of the Farm Bureaus, trying to look at our climate and what are we doing and to lead the way. So it's just amazing that they all come here, and every hotel, the economic impact of this juggernaut, the World Ag Expo. We'll be going live there next week at 9 a.m. with Business Leaders Live. Ryan, before the break, we were talking about water. Water's a powerful, that's the blue gold of California. And the regulations, and talk to me more about the issues of the Fresno County Farm Bureau. And before you get into that, also, we talked about how the Fresno County Farm Bureau is unique and a little different than other farm bureaus across the United States. What makes it different?
So what makes it different is, believe it or not, that California county farm bureaus, so there's 53 of us. There's 58 counties throughout the state of California, but 53 county farm bureaus. And we are the only state that really has paid staff members at the county level. Now, the difference in that is, California, when it comes to a regulatory or political climate, is much different than those other states. And so they're completely voluntary boards of directors in other places. But I have a board of directors, but I'm very fortunate that I also got on the smart side. I get paid for what I do. And so I have it's worked out very well. And so I have got to merge my two loves of agriculture and politics and get to have a full-time staff position for our local county farm bureau. With that said, we have 53 county farm bureaus up and down the state of California that come together and make up the California Farm Bureau up in Sacramento that represents us on both state and federal issues. We have a heck of a team up there that does some great things over at the Capitol. It's becoming more and more challenging, and we'll talk about that in a second about trying to make a difference over in the Capitol. But nevertheless, they do a great job of representing us there and doing a lot of political operative and trying to get news stories out and everything about the benefits of agriculture. And then all of the 50 state farm bureaus plus Puerto Rico come together to make up the American Farm Bureau back in Washington, D.C. So we have representation at all three levels of government, and it's we're the largest grassroots organization in the country, over 5 million members, and they do a heck of a job, really representing our industry that's so critically important, not just to our local economy, our state economy, but also to our national economy and national security.
And you have a very powerful board too, and it really is a reflection of the farmers and the ranchers in the San Joaquin Valley that really have come together to form an incredible board. I think years past I had a opportunity to come in with Business Street. We had done a story, and I was pretty impressed to look around that table and see so many power players, if you will, in the farming and ranching industry.
We have lots of diversity, just from not just crops, but the people and their backgrounds, and it makes for a very, very good and spirited representation of the organization and those farmers and ranchers that are out there. And one thing that I think is important to tell you, Lance, is that just last year we celebrated 100 years. So we're in our 101st year of representing farmers and ranchers, and so the whole thing started back in the fall of 1917. And just I feel very privileged to carry on the legacy of so many incredible folks. You go through the list of names. I mean, you got some of our early predecessors of this organization. I mean, they have towns named around the valley of them.
After them.
And just know that they were part of this organization is just really a motivation to why we do what we do.
So, and now you're over a decade in the position, and you see over the years regulations towards farmers and ranchers is really happened when you took helm.
Yes.
That's really started to come on the scene. And I think that's where you do such a good job. You keep a close eye to the politics and what's happening up in Washington and at our state level. And like you were saying, at a state level, you have some good people up there, but at the same time, you have some huge challenges.
Huge challenges.
It changes every day.
Without a doubt. I mean, it's not a secret in this state. We would be kidding ourselves if we didn't say this. We're essentially a one-party state at this point. And, there's been some challenges over the last decade that have become quite monumental very quickly for this industry that really has it, it has a big question mark to what our future is. I'm optimistic that we're going to continue to be here when I say we, the industry. But with that said, it's becoming more challenging, not just from the state legislature perspective. You have more and more individuals that are coming from more and more urbanized areas that really don't get or understand, and we try to do that messaging and make sure they get out on the farm and understand the implications of the rules and regulations they're passing. But during the same period, we've also had an incredible growing in authority for these regulatory agencies. And, whether it's the California Air Resources Board to the California, State Water Resources Control Board to you name it, these authorities have become very, very powerful in a very, very short amount of time. And some of the legislative oversight that they historically used to have isn't there the same as it used to be. And so they have, run with rules and regulations in a very short time frame. And by the way, and I was telling you during the break, Lance, every single thing that comes out has some kind of cost associated with it. It has, the direct cost, but also the paperwork cost that comes with it. And so it's becoming increasingly a burden and almost unbearable, we are price takers, not price makers with California agriculture. We're competing against a global scale, against increasingly productive other parts of the world. And with that said, we have to continue to remain on the cutting edge of innovation and being productive, or else we don't stay in business. But when those regulatory costs shoot up the way that we've seen them shoot up the last decade, it's becoming more and more increasingly difficult to stay in business.
Yeah, stay in business. So
And by the way, and Lance, I'm just going to mention it as a nexus to next week. Just walk around. You're going to see places from Texas. You may see governors from whether it's South Dakota, Wyoming, wherever else that make their way down to Tulare to try to recruit our businesses away. Yeah. And that's a sad day. That's a sad day right in our backyard at our show. Yeah, they're trying to recruit us away.
And pull them away at the World Ag Expo. We'll be going live there with Business Leaders Live next week, and yeah, absolutely, we'll see that. When we come back, I wanted to talk a little bit about these organizations. Let's play devil's advocate a little bit, because there's a reason for some of the organizations. Some of it is a ton of red tape, and it's really where the rubber meets the road isn't happening. And they crop up all the time, and they're looking to pad the pocketbook. But some of them, Air Control Board and different things, they're doing good. But at the same time, on the backs of the people that feed the people, and these legacies, these businesses that are being decimated, some of them going out of business, some of them leaving our state. And how do we combat that, and how do we work with that? And that's part of the things that you're working with, I'm sure, Ryan. When we return with Business Leaders Live, we'll get into that, and we'll be right back with more Business Leaders Live.
Joining me on the phone now is Roger Story with Investment Commercial Specialist. What is Investment Commercial Specialist known for, Roger?
Well, primarily we're known for being the investor's broker. We have people calling us with very special needs, and we try to serve their needs by listening astutely to what they're asking us for. And so we specialize in serving people who are trying to start up a new business or buy a business that's existing, and we bring a lot of things to the table in doing that, which is one is financing. Financing is a key to being able to acquire these businesses, and then the ability to structure the transaction in such a way that serves our clients the best.
I've known Roger for close to 20 years. I've worked with him, and I can highly recommend him. Call Roger Story today at 559-285-5744 or visit his website at investmentcommercialspecialist.com. Again, call Roger today, 285-5744. It pays to work with a specialist.
Hey guys, this is Pastor Sean Beatty from Clovis Hills Community Church, and I want to tell you about a new radio show. It's going to be 9 a.m. to 10 every Friday morning, and it's called Redefine Defiance. It's spirituality for the rest of us. That's really what it is. Here's what I want you to know. If you're one of those people that you love God, but you're not perfect, you don't have the whole Bible memorized, you haven't, been born in the back row of a Baptist church and you've got it all together, well, this is the show for you, because we're going to come together and we're going to learn from the Bible, we're going to tell stories, we're going to laugh, and we're going to have a good time. My co-host, Pastor Scott Hinman, and our producer, Beast Mode, we're going to come on and we're going to bring the word to you in a new, fun, exciting way. So come see us on 1680 The Answer.
If you've fallen behind on your taxes, you know that the IRS is already coming for their money, and they'll get it too by garnishing your wages or maybe even taking your home or business. They call it enforced compliance, and you'd better watch out because the penalties and interest compound daily, making it seem impossible to ever get out of debt. You need to call the experts at Optima Tax Relief. Solving tax issues is all they do. One call to Optima starts the process to stop the demand letters and stop aggressive collection actions. They get to work immediately, fighting to protect your assets and helping you put your tax problems behind you. The IRS writes off millions every year, and Optima knows all the ins and outs of the IRS's tax assistance programs that could save you thousands. So what are you waiting for? Call Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-970-3199. That's 800-970-3199. 800-970-3199.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Credit products are made by WebBank. Amazon is not a sponsor of this promotion. Other restrictions apply. See website for details.
I was making great progress on building my savings, but then I get hit with an unexpected car repair bill.
Keeping a close eye on my credit score allowed me to buy my first house, but an unexpected medical emergency set me back.
When the unexpected happened, Avant was there to help. If you need to borrow $2,000 to $35,000, try Avant. It's fast, simple, and transparent.
Everything is done online. There are no prepayment fees, and no collateral is required. And you can instantly check your rate with no impact to your credit score.
Over 500,000 customers have experienced the convenience of a loan through Avant. No wonder Avant has an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau. And now, Avant will give you a $50 Amazon.com gift card after your first payment is made on time. To check your rates and to get this special radio offer, go to Avant.com today and enter promo code 8000 when applying. That's AVANT.com, promo code 8000. Go to Avant.com today and enter promo code 8000.
Giving you the inside story of business leaders in the Valley and beyond. This is Business Leaders with Lance Cardoza.
Welcome back, everybody, live here at the AM 1680 The Answer Studios. And sitting here with Ryan Jacobsen with the Fresno County Farm Bureau. We're talking about working with, since he's come in over the past decade, and really the political climate was something that was very important to you, and you studied a lot at Fresno State, that it became like thrusted right in your lap, that some of the biggest issues in the farming industry and the ranching industry are about ready to come down, and a bunch of regulatory agencies. And we were talking before the commercial break that I understand why they've been put in place, and they've done tremendous groundwork when you talk about the air control or air quality board.
Yep.
Correct?
Yep.
But with that all is a cost. And at what point does it start to make sense with some of these organizations onto the ranchers and the farmers, correct?
Without a doubt. So the best shining example is what you just said, Lance. I mean, we are statistically, and everything you could say, and it's hard to say that on a day like today, but statistically, our air is extraordinarily more cleaner today than it was 20 years ago. And a lot of that is because farmers and ranchers and the huge dedication they had as far as replacing pump engines and other stationary sources, and updating their trucks, and it's been a commitment of both time, energy, and a great amount of money. But with that said, there's what's funny in this whole conversation when you start talking about what's happened the last decade is bring agriculture to the table, because a lot of times we can get to the same point you want to get to, but in a much straighter line. And that's part of the frustration. And when you go to working with some of these agencies long term, is the fact that they have priorities, they have areas to get to, and it's not necessarily, they can't just work with you the easiest sometimes to get to that same point. And so I think that's my biggest thing, or my biggest wish, as I look forward and I strive to work with these agencies and have the connections and the partnerships to do what we do there. But you take the difference of just working with our local air board. They have done great things to reach out the industry to try to look for solutions. And that's what I think is kind of lacking, or has lacked over the last 10 years at the state level, is they try to go it alone instead of working with their partners. We are partners. Without a doubt, these agencies, as much as you cuss and curse them because of some of the things they're doing, we are partners because we're in this. There's been legislation passed that we have to comply with. How are we going to get there? How can we get there, number one, voluntarily? How can we get there with minimal impacts? How can we get there jointly so that we get to the end result together collectively, and we both win from the situation?
And there's a bunch of projects like that, and that all constantly go on. Like you said, if instead of creating a straight line, they tend to create these peaks and valleys along the way, and the cost just gets huge, amounts. It gets worse and worse. And I don't want to get into the weeds of this because it'll be a whole show.
Yeah, exactly.
But there's a train getting ready to blow through the valley that if it was done differently in the beginning and the farmers were brought to the table first, things could be a lot different. And
a lot different.
And now there's this paralysis.
Yep.
happening,
And it just goes down to so much of whether it's that issue or other issues, it's communication. And again, I'm not naive enough to know that I'm not the only stakeholder out there, that ag's not the only stakeholder out there. But so much of the time it's my farmers and ranchers writing that check. It's my farmers and ranchers that the ones that are trying to get to the ultimate end result. And so, you know what, whoever's writing the check should have some kind of say of how we get there, because
in the beginning,
yeah. it's such and when you talk about the high-speed rail issue, I mean, some of that may have not been a check per se, but I mean, you're talking legacy and you're talking about the future operation. How do you run that? And so, communication so much is such a key there. And so we're fortunate that we have advocates out that are doing some amazing things for us, but we just need to continue to work to continue those partnerships, those relationships, because that's what it all boils down to.
So Fresno County Farm Bureau, because we're talking about creating the straight line and the peaks and valleys and what it takes to run these regulatory agencies as well. But the Fresno County Farm Bureau, how is it funded? Yep. And I know you do events and fundraising and different things. You have some coming up here soon?
Yep. So first and foremost, we are funded exclusively by our members. So I have voluntary members, and I think one of the things I clear up instantly with everybody is you don't have to be just a farmer and rancher to be a part of my organization. So, particularly on the allied side, so whether you're a PCA or you're a banker or you're a CPA or anybody else whose job depends upon agriculture, you're welcome. We welcome you into the organization. We really encourage folks to get involved there. And so from that perspective, I'm funded voluntarily by my members, and they come from all different walks of life and all different backgrounds, but we are so thankful for them. And as far as events, I mean, we have many events throughout the year, but our real flagship one is our big annual event. We're going to be hosting this year on May 3rd over at Wolf Lakes, and so excited about that. Going to have a very fun time working on a great speaker that's soon to be announced. But with that said, we really welcome folks to get involved in the organization. Just outreach to us and find out how you can get involved, and we'd love to have those folks be a part. I mean, ultimately, all these folks that are involved are our mouthpieces out in the industry, are our cheerleaders, our beneficiaries, and so we are definitely happy to have additional folks join the team.
And like you said, if your job depends on ag, and pretty much if you're getting a paycheck anywhere, someone is contributing to ag in some way, you want to support a great organization like the Fresno County Farm Bureau. Give them your website and how they can go there, find out more information about March 3rd. They find out more information about becoming a member of the Fresno County Farm Bureau.
Absolutely, because so much is obviously driven that way. We encourage you to visit www.fcfb, the acronym for Fresno County Farm Bureau.org. And we're on all the major sources of social media. We're on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram. And so check us out there. We try to post some fun things there and have we try to have as many resources available for not just going on in agriculture, but also what's going on in the community, because as you just said, Lance, they're so interconnected, and you can't have hardly one without the other in this area.
So if you're a business or simply just a person that wants to become a member and be a part of the Fresno County Farm Bureau, I encourage you to support Ryan Jacobsen and his organization and the good work that they're doing at the Fresno County Farm Bureau, and continue to protect the ranchers and the farmers that are growing their business, and at the same time protecting us all here in the valley, being able to create a better life for us all and feed the world, because that's what we used to do, and that's what we will continue to keep doing, and that's what Brian's fighting for with the Fresno County Farm Bureau. We have one more segment to go. Before we go to break, though, Ryan, I always ask our business leaders, and if it's something that might create some common ground, there's someone that can come up to you and shake your hand and say, hey, I do that, or I didn't know that that's one of your hobbies. And when we come back, I want you to be able to let our listeners know at AM 1680 The Answer what that is for Ryan Jacobsen. And then also we'll do a little wrap up, and thank you for joining us here on Business Leaders Live. So we'll find out what that is with Ryan Jacobsen when we return. Next week at 9 a.m. on Tuesday, we'll be live at the World Ag Expo. Over 50 years of ranchers and farmers coming together from all over the world in Tulare, California. We'll be right back with the final segment here at Business Leaders Live.
A little smarter.
What you've been talking about rings rife through this area.
And a lot more informed.
I'm a black man in America. I'm a survivor.
It's Jim Franklin Live.
Just wanted to say I like your show, dude.
Weekday mornings at 8 on AM 1680, The Answer. Get it out your mouth. Get it off your chest.
Russian allegations. Being politically correct.
Jim Franklin Live.
Scandals over the White House.
Weekday mornings at 8 on AM 1680.
The Answer.
Thinking about retirement? Well, think about this. According to the Social Security Administration, the average monthly government benefit for a retired worker is $1,369. Can you live your retirement dream on less than $1,300 a month? Well, most of us can't. That's why so many people trust financial engines to help them plan for a retirement that they can look forward to. Our one-on-one approach means that we'll talk with you, not at you. If you already have a retirement plan, we can help make sure it's the right one for your situation. And if you don't, well, we'll work together to start one, and we'll be there to help keep it on track. Don't rely on just Social Security for your financial future. Get a personalized retirement plan working for you today. Go to financialengines.com and schedule an appointment with your local Financial Engines advisor. That's financialengines.com.
This is John Sayers with Financial Engines in Fresno and Visalia. Let's talk about the financial goals that are important to you, and together we'll develop a plan to help make them happen. Call me at 559-434-9800 or visit financialengines.com.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, U.S. Tax Shield can help you take back control. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Our team of tax attorneys can stop collections and get you protected. U.S. Tax Shield offers a price protection guaranteed quote to get you protected today. U.S. Tax Shield is A+ rated with the BBB, so call 800-466-9625. U.S. Tax Shield, 800-466-9625.
You are listening to Business Leaders with Lance Cardoza, the behind-the-scenes story of the business shakers and movers in the Valley and beyond. Once again, here's Lance Cardoza.
Ryan Jacobsen, it's been a great pleasure. Thank you for being on the program. Fresno County Farm Bureau and all the good work that you guys are doing, and follow you very closely. Like I said, in 2007, you were in our Business Street online.com's 40 Under 40.
Yeah.
And make sure you nominate somebody this year
Absolutely.
that needs to be recognized. Before the break, we talked about something that someone might not know about you, maybe your closest friends. But what's Ryan Jacobsen? What are you into? What's your thing?
You know, the funny thing is I can list so many things right now. We talked, I mean, you know that I'm a huge Simpsons fan. I'm a massive Simpsons fan. I love the Simpsons. I'm a huge Taylor Swift fan, which for a guy that's in his mid-30s, a lot of people wouldn't think of being a huge Taylor Swift fan, but I'm going down to see her in Pasadena. But you know what, Lance? This is one I think.
What does your wife think? Is she going?
She's not as... Actually, she loves the new album.
She loves the new Taylor Swift.
She didn't like the old Taylor Swift. She loves the new Taylor Swift.
Oh, wow.
But something fun, you know what? Because I think this finds common ground with just about anybody. I got 3 sons that I am so genuinely proud of. I have 6-year-old Maverick, I have 3-year-old Ranger, and I have soon-to-be 9-month-old Trooper. And so many people, when they find out their names, they go wild over it because that's on the unique side. But I'm the proud father of 3 sons that I love so dearly.
Awesome.
And everything in my life revolves around them right now. And life has been quite chaotic since that third one was added to the nest there a few months ago. And so we're still adjusting, but loving every little minute with those guys.
Oh, they're so cool. They're so cool. That age between just 1 and 5.
Oh, it's magical. It's absolutely magical, and the development and the learning experiences they're going through. And we just started kindergarten with the oldest, and so that's a whole new other experience there. And so we are absolutely in the prime of our lives, just loving every bit with our little kids. So
awesome fun. Do you take them to the zoo?
They love the zoo.
They love the zoo.
We are an elephant family. We love those elephants.
I love the elephant.
Yes.
Oh, and Cara and Shansi, when they had, I think Cara passed away and Shansi got shipped to a conservatory. I was so sad. I didn't get to go see him, but beautiful African elephants out there. Beautiful Chaffee Zoo. Ryan, thank you for being here with the Fresno County Farm Bureau. A lot of good's going on here in California and right here in the breadbasket of the world. And Ryan, you're doing some great stuff. And if you see Ryan, you are a fan of Taylor Swift or The Simpsons, you have some common ground. Go up and shake his hand and talk about it. Next week, we'll be live at 9 a.m. from the World Ag Expo with Business Leaders Live. Thank you for joining us.
In the future, your home's energy footprint is going to be much smaller than it is today. Energy efficiency and green building programs combined with government incentives and private ingenuity will reduce your energy consumption anywhere from 20 to 40%. Green is good, and it will save you money.
Our family at Donald P. Dick, your locally owned and operated heating and air conditioning company, and proud to be the People's Choice Award winner for the 9th straight year, reminds you to go green and save. Call today for a free estimate.
Donald P. Dick is introducing a whole house approach. Air and duct sealing, attic insulation, hot water pipe insulation. Ideas designed to drive the cost of energy down. Plus, your home could qualify for valuable energy rebates. Call Mr. Cool, Donald P. Dick Heating and Air at 255-1644. They'll show you how to